Jeff, give me a division winner, a play that stood out to you, and why, and what do you have officially here? Go ahead.
Yeah, so a lot of the time when I bet baseball day to day, I'm going at it a very different tack than most. And I'll kind of explain once we get to the shows where we're putting out picks daily. Look, I know this is crazy, okay, but I look at the NL East. I feel like it is a little crazy, quite honestly. The Braves are obviously the World Series defending champs, but they lost a lot. I don't love their rotation. The Mets are already having problems, and as we know with the New York Mets, they are full of issues. If you know anything about them and their fan base, there's always issues. DeGrom's already hurt. Do I trust them long term to score runs? I look at the Phillies. Look, I live in this area. This fan base acts like this team has no problem, but they do. They have a great lineup, but their bullpen blows. Their rotation's not good either, outside of Wheeler. To think that Nola every year is going to be that star, and he never is. So I'm looking at the Marlins, and I'm saying, well, at 15-1, is it conceivable? That's the word today, conceivable. I don't think it's out of the question. I mean, they kind of remind me, TJ, of the Rays a little bit when they were coming up. A young team who plays a lot of small ball. Let's ask ourselves, where's this rotation? I think it's really good. I think it's one of the better ones that we don't know about. Bullpen, I think's okay. At 15-1, I'll take a shot on a wild division. I don't love any of the teams above them. And I really like this young rotation. I like what they have there. And I feel like they could play a little small ball. 15-1. I'll take a shot with the Marlins.
How about that? The Marlins to win the East at 15-1. He likes the value play on that. Base winner, a thought on what he's saying about the Marlins? Do they have a pulse in the NL East?
Yeah, I think his handicap is pretty good with the Marlins. If you look at their starting pitching, let me see where they have them ranked. They're ranked 4th in baseball, which is super surprising. And I mean, if you throw that in, I'm not as sold as much on their bullpen rank. I have them at 20th, but I do think that they have some value at 15-1. Again, my numbers aren't as good on the Braves as well. I have them at a projection of 85.2. You know, the Marlins, they're at 82 wins, so is 15-1 the good price? I'm not sure. I haven't ran this particular division into the Monte Carlo simulation, but I do think there's some good components behind Jeff's handicap, and I do think that you know the team has a chance.
All right, give me one then as a division winner, Mark, that stood out to you, and you jumped on right away here as a futures play here. And what team is that one?
Well, this is an easy handicap for me. I've got the Dodgers winning the division at 92.3% of the time, and last I checked, they were at minus 225. Is that the correct price right now?
That's the number we have from BetUS. Correct.
So I mean, I'm looking at they should be priced at minus 1329. I think that's just a no-brainer. I think you have to play the Dodgers to win that division. I mean, and if you look at their offense, they are 8 points better from a runs created standpoint. My base winner runs created number. They're 8 points better than the nearest competitor, which is Toronto, and Toronto's at 119. So as far as how many games they will be over their nearest competitor in the NL West, I've got the Giants at 88.2 wins and the Padres at 86.4 wins. So, I mean, they're 15 games above, and that's how that 93.2 projection gets calculated. So I think that's a great play. I really do. I just don't think you overthink it. It's like, okay, well, they should be priced, you know, what's minus 225 on the percentage line, you know, 70%, and I have it at 92%. So I think that's probably the best division winner that I can suggest for everybody.
And as Jeff mentioned, as if they didn't have enough offense already, they signed Freddie Freeman a couple of weeks ago to that free agent deal. Their payroll is like the same as Jeff's bankroll. It's like $500 million. What is their payroll? Like $790 million? I don't know in LA. don't get me started on the disparity between the teams when you got one team spending 7, 8, 10 times as much as some of the other teams. But that's the Dodgers in this case. And for the play here, the base winner says LA Dodgers is his favorite one. While we have this up here on the screen, give me another one here that you like, base winner as well. The big man again took the Marlins. Alejandro back at BetUS. I don't know if you have the Marlins in the National League East and the odds to win. He was taking that more for the value play. Look at Alejandro all over it on a Wednesday on the BetUS MLB show. So the big man again loved the play, the value at plus 1,500. Interesting, the Braves at plus 125. Big man, give me a quick thought on Ronald Acuna being back. Acuna being back from the torn up knee a year ago. That's a little bit of an unknown, but the Braves still got it done without him. I know Freeman's not there anymore, but they still got it done and won the World Series without him. Now he's back, and they're plus 125.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's what's so impressive about what the Braves did. I mean, they kind of came out of nowhere. Let's just be honest. But yeah, I mean, he's a great player. I mean, one of the best young players in baseball. And what is one thing we know about these young players? They generally come in and play to the highest level. He's what's going to start out as DH. I mean, look, by the way, thank God, we have DHs now. I mean, what an awful rule that was for so many years. It was so unfair. I don't know how you can have a game, a sport that has so much money involved that we have one side that could do one thing and one side does the other. It's almost like playing soccer and saying, well, okay, for the whole game, one team's going to have 10 players, the other team's going to have 11. What sense does this make? Right. I'm glad they made these changes. But yeah, to bring Acuna back, look, they need him because they lost some talent. You remember, you mentioned they lost Freeman and others, so getting him back is great. Again, like I said, don't love the rotation. And I think for the NL East, I think there's a lot of teams where the bullpens are good, but I don't trust them. And I especially know it's like I said in Philadelphia, I don't trust the bullpen here. But I do love the Dodgers one that base winner threw out. When he mentioned his number was what, 1,400. That's crazy compared to what you're getting. Look, I'll continue to also mention, and I wanted to kind of save this for the World Series thought. My favorite team this year in all of baseball is the Brewers. I'm very high on Milwaukee. I think we could get a World Series back in Milwaukee since maybe, what was it, the 80s? I think the last time they were involved. Look, best bullpen in the whole major leagues. I think we can talk about the rotation is really, really good. They didn't get a ton out of Yelich last year as far as where we expect him to be. I think he has a bang-up year and comes back and is kind of that guy we know him to be. I really like what they have. Keston Hiura, obviously him, and Corbin Burns won the Cy Young last year. I love this team top to bottom. I think they're going to keep runs off the board. That's a 1-5 really good rotation there. And like I said, could be the best in baseball if we're all talking about it. When we look at complete pitching staffs, and I'm curious to see what Mark thinks, might be the best in the major leagues. I really like them to win the NL Central because you look at the rest of the teams, I don't really care or like in that division. And I think in the grand scheme of the entire MLB, I think they have some value.
All right, fair enough on that. Let's look at the official plays that you got. You guys both have on the futures here. And Mark, go ahead and illuminate. We talked a little bit about the Angels. We talked a little bit about the Dodgers. You also like the Yankees on the future play at plus 225 to win. It's kind of interesting with their payroll. They're still getting plus 225. Mark, give me a quick thought there on the Yankees to win the AL East here.
Yeah, well, basically, I ran it in the Monte Carlo simulation, and I have the Yankees at 101 wins and Toronto at 95 wins. The next team is Boston at 85. Came up with the projection of 68.8% for the Yankees, and 68.8% is like minus 213. So again, that plus 225 is juicy. I mean, look, I'm an analytical guy, and I can give you all the numbers, and I just did. But at the end of the season, too, the Dodgers are going to, if they need a guy, they're going to pick up a guy. They did it last year. The Yankees, if they're in contention, they're going to pick up a guy. So it's really a good, like from a standpoint of having it in your pocket. I mean, if the numbers, in your favor, and then having that additional in the kind of in the back of your mind, I mean, it sounds really chalky and square, but like I'm telling you, I've ran all the numbers. I've analyzed over 450 guys that are being playing in the league this year, and that's what the numbers came out to be.
I mean,
right,
it just screams.
Yep.
John Means just screams New York Yankees. I feel like he's a guy they go and grab and at the break. And look, they're going to be the team that probably does it. They're going to need, I think, more rotation help. So
they will be buyers big time. Alejandro, if you can, show us the American League East odds to win the division just for one more thing, and then we're going to move on to the odds to win the American League or the National League. The American League East odds, I'm curious, again, as the base winner was talking about, the Yankees currently lead the odds on the American League East. There's the National League East. If we can look at the American League East odds, if we get that back up there, I want to see what the Rays are to win the division. Remember now, kids, I know I'm kind of slanting towards Tampa Bay. Look at my Rays at plus 700 after the trade they made yesterday, getting rid of one of their outfielders, Austin Meadows. But as we look at that, the Rays won 100 games. They won the most games in the American League. I know last year. They won the most games in the American League in the regular season last year. So you talk about value play, maybe it's the Rays. And there's the Braves, the Mets, the Phillies, the Marlins. And again, the big man is liking the Marlins there is plus 1,500. And man, how the Nationals have fallen over the last couple of years are plus 5,000 just to win the division on the Bet US line.